Hello and welcome to another scene set in Edessa, the Dark Crusade. As a member of the Baron's Court has been summoned to meet with a man in charge himself to deal with an extremely important matter within the coming week. Maybe a bit of maybe springing this on the sheriff a bit too soon. Battle plans usually tend to be given a few weeks, not just a week, but nonetheless, we're in the middle of a siege, and sometimes we need to adapt to an ever-evolving situation, something that Nosferatu and the Hagor have proven themselves very capable at. And that is where we'll start the scene with the Baron in his office, with the sheriff arriving at the palace, where he is to be evaluated.
Okay, well, the sheriff will enter the Baron's office and stop just inside the doorway and wait patiently for the Baron to acknowledge him.
Yep, when you enter the office, there's like a very large piece of parchment that basically covers the entire desk, just stretched out all over the table. Appears to be a map with all sorts of directions. Pretty obvious their battle plans. And the Baron will acknowledge you. Good evening, my sheriff.
Good evening, Baron. You summoned me?
Oh, pardon?
You summoned me?
Yes, I have a task of utmost importance for you and the Scourge. I shall be discussing the Scourge's place and what I'm about to convey to you later on this evening, however.
Please continue.
I'm not sure how much you're connected to the military or nobility of the city, but word has now spread of a very large attack that's going to be launched of a Turkish camp at night in the next few days, about a week from now. The Turks have blocked the river, and they've received reinforcements from Asia Minor to replace the engineers, but they are cavalry archers. It is, as our Scourge said, they will be attempting to pepper us endlessly with an overwhelming force of ranged barbarians. I have managed to, with some convincing, take charge of a battle plan to soften the Turkish position outside our city and get the river flowing again and solve some of our supply problems. Scourge shall be taking care of the river and archery issue. That is not something you need to worry about. However, you will be in charge of the attack on the supply train. You will be attempting to steal it with the aid of a mortal retinue of soldiers and your hounds. How you go about this is up to you, but there will be much going on at once. I've also made sure that the lupine threat outside the city will not be engaging you.
Very well. I would ask for what route this supply train travels.
He will give you the directions, as I cannot remember it in character. But yeah, it's actually laid out pretty well on the map. So he'll just point to a place on the map and kind of run his finger down.
Very well. And are we to simply return to the city with these supplies, or are we to destroy them? Are we to kill everyone we find there? Are we to take hostages? Or does none of it matter to you?
You may kill everything in your way. It would be preferable if you could steal it, but if you are forced into a corner and must destroy it, then so be it. It would also be preferable if you could steal supplies that pertain to mortals, food and water. The supply situation in the city is beginning to entice rioting, and the nobility are retreating to their strongholds and bribing the city guard to keep themselves safe. The noble family of the Vendomes will be assisting you. They'll be leading the mortal retinue on both sides of the conflict. If there's one thing to request, it would be to not let any of the Vendomes die. Then mortal politics will take hold, and the leadership in this city will begin falling apart. He seems quite serious about this. I do not mind if you have to leave a hound behind to make sure that they don't do anything foolish. While I trust them as the more sensible of the noble families, they are hardly immune to unwise action.
Ivan will nod. He seems to approve of Ulric's assessment and of his actions. Although he is, as always, wearing his iron mask and thus his features remain fairly impassive.
Or expects his constant well, let's just say it's a burden to keep your face hidden all the time, but he's learned to respect that over the time he's come to know his sheriff.
Well, he's always felt that actions speak louder than words.
Yes, he's definitely proven that.
What of this group of mortals that I will be leading? What can you tell me of them?
They'll be more lightly equipped than the soldiers attempting to retake the river area. The mission you'll be on will be one of less visibility, shall we say. So they'll be attempting to sneak in when the initial assault group attacks the river. They'll attempt to use the distraction to their advantage. If they rush in, please do try and stop them. At the very least, make sure that you're able to use their own foolishness to take the supply train. I'm unsure of how many guards will be at the supply train, but hopefully there will be few. It will be night and there will be much going on that will cause them to be heading in another direction.
Indeed.
I do not expect you to take the entirety of the supply train. That would be very difficult, even for one as talented as yourself. So it would be best to prioritize on the mental aspect. The longer we can hold out, the better the situation becomes for us.
So, how many of the wagons would you expect me to retrieve? You do not expect me to retrieve all of them.
This gives Ulric a bit of pause. Mostly because I don't know how much of the supply train is actually of food and water. You'll basically give you a relative number that equates around that much, which is probably a good portion of it, to be fair. Substantial amount. Not not like a lot of it, but it's like, it might be I guess you could say a significant minority of the supply train. Something that leaves the Turkish army deprived of the food and water that they've been yearning for.
So 2 out of every 5 wagons.
Maybe, yeah, something like that. Yeah, not a majority. 2 out of 5. Yeah, that makes sense. Something like that. Yeah.
Very well.
Once you have the supply chain, the gates will be ready to open for you. So make sure to return as quickly as possible once your objective is achieved. Waste no time in retreating.
Of course, the objective is not to defeat the enemy, it is to steal his property.
Exactly, and the Scourge's force will be dealing with the brunt of the Turkish horde for this operation.
Indeed. Well, my Baron, I understand my instructions well enough. Is there any other matter I can assist you with this night?
It may be wise to invite some of the other Canaanites in the city along. Some of them are eager to prove themselves.
Do you have any ideas?
There is a bard in this city who managed to sneak past the horde and make his way here. He may be useful. His name is Azir. Although he may need to leave the battle at some point to retrieve his sire. Once the supply train is brought back in, it might be worth you accompanying him to his, I believe to be torpid sire. He was attacked on his way to this city. Just in case this is not what it appears. You have been caught off guard more than once after all.
Well then, if he is willing to assist me in this raid, then I would be more than happy to help him retrieve his sire. Tell me, is he as adept at infiltration as you made him seem?
I'm not sure how adept he is at infiltration, but if he managed to sneak past the army surrounding his city, I have no doubt that he, at the very least, seems to be either adept at infiltration, as he stated, or at being a distraction. He
Agreed.
claims to be a simple musician, but there is definitely more to him than that.
Very well.
He's a Bruja, so he should be capable of a fight.
Well, as capable as they can be. Are there any others you would consider worthy of bringing along? Or is he the only one?
Khan Ra, Father Petruchio, both seem. Father Petruchio is on the road of heaven. He will not like this horde at all. He would be quite eager to have a shot at them. And Khan Ra has also stated that he wants to prove himself as well.
And neither of those would be more suited to assisting the scourge.
Father Petruchio may be a better option for Scourge. They also have their retainers, which they shall be able to bring along to the conflict and serve as additional manpower for you. Nora seems to have a duel who is quite good in handling conflict.
That is not something that concerns me personally. I'm well stocked enough with my own retainers. But I will consider taking the two of them along. I thank you for the suggestions.
I shall organize you a short list so that you have the full array of choices. Kind of smiles.
I trust you will not be offended if I neglect to take certain individuals along. I do not deem them worthy.
Oh, but their worthiness is your choice. I would not be taken aback if you were to reject those that you believe were not up to the standard.
Very good, Aaron. You do me an honor by placing your trust in my abilities and my judgment. I will not let you down.
You have yet to do so, and I assume you never shall. Other than that, however, I believe we've covered the plan and all the details that pertain to it. And he just does a once-over over the battle plan. But to just reiterate, the main objective being the supply chain and the survival of the vendor and leadership. Other than that, you are free to execute the strategy as you see fit.
I will do so. And Ivan will bow and then turn on his heel and leave.
As he goes to leave, Ulric will say good evening and yes, Vault. It's hard to tell if that's mocking or not, in the sense that he's making fun of that term, or if he actually means it.
Well, either way, Ivan doesn't respond.
Yes, and as you leave, the retainers are very eager to open the door for you, being a canine of significant importance, and both bow to you as you leave. One deeper than the other, although the one that bows less deeply appears more respectful. He's obviously a more military man and knows how this works much better than the guy who seems to be doubling over for you. But neither of them are disrespectful. In fact, both of them are very respectful. And with the sheriff's departure, that is part one of the plan set in motion.